Hello, everyone. Welcome to the podcast that was promised. So I decided to title this one Inside the Mind of Aidan Callari because we're talking about a lot of different types of things, including interviews with friends and just having random guests, random news, random topics. So I just thought I might as well call it this so I don't have to run into anything whenever I go off topic. So there is no topic. Well, there's a general one, Inside My Mind, and that's it. So, here we go. And let's start off with all the San Diego Comic-Con news. And there is a lot of it. Let's start off with the Marvel side of things because, in my opinion, Marvel had the really underwhelming portion of San Diego Comic-Con. Because I love their movies and I love what they're doing, but they just seem to be, they're not upping their game at all. They could have blown everyone's minds by like announcing something about Infinity War or maybe showing a Spider-Man clip. That's what everyone wanted, and they did show it there at the con, but they didn't debut it online. So, what are you gonna do? You can't change that. But let's start off with the thing that they actually did release, the Doctor Strange trailer, which, in all honesty, looks amazing because I love Benedict Cumberbatch. Sorry, my voice sounds weird with the braces, I know, but I love him as an actor. He's fantastic. I think his best performance I've seen was in The Imitation Game. Fantastic movie. Honestly, just wow, blew my mind in that movie. He was well worth the Oscar nomination. I think he might have been able to win that year, as long as Eddie Redmayne wouldn't have been fantastic in The Theory of Everything. Then he would have won probably. But yeah, the trailer looks fantastic, and I love the jokes here. Like the ending joke with the Wi-Fi password. That was really funny. And I love all the actors. Like, I know there's a whole outrage about Tilda Swinton being cast as, I think, I'm not sure, I can't quite remember what country the character of the Ancient One was from in the comics, but of a white girl being cast as that character. It makes sense that some people would be very oversensitive about that. But I don't see that. It just, they're allowed to retcon their own characters and do something good and do something interesting, different, and just it pleases fans when they do something different. And I don't think a lot of people realize that they do these things differently to please us fans. They don't do it to make us angry. They don't do it to get under our skin. They just do it to just see what we think about their new take on the things. And I think that's a good thing. That's a good risk to take. Although there was an outrage about it, it's a good risk to take, and I think they made a good move here. And then the next piece of news I'm going to move on to is Brie Larson was cast as Captain Marvel, a.k.a. Carol Danvers, who was Miss Marvel in the comics for a while until she was upgraded to Captain Marvel, which is fantastic. I love her. She's great. She's a great actress. She won an Oscar this past year. She's a great actress, and I think she's going to pull this off. I'm hoping that she pulls this off. She probably will. Because she's fantastic. She was great in that movie, and I honestly am excited to see what she does with this. And I'm curious to see if they're going to be doing an origin story again, like they've been doing with a lot of characters. Like, I guess you could say Guardians of the Galaxy was an origin story for the team, which it was. Doctor Strange looks like it will be an origin story yet again. And, yeah, I'm fine with Marvel doing origin stories. It bugs some people, but it doesn't bug me. It's just a thing that we can deal with. It's just there. It's just a thing. Not everyone needs to be so upset about it, like, oh, this angers me so much, they're doing this over and over and over again. No, they're not doing it over and over and over again. They're just doing it differently for each character, because we all need to understand their motivations and everything, and that's what an origin story is. It shouldn't be a bad thing to have an origin story. It should be a good thing. We should be happy about that. And the casting, Brie Larson, fantastic. I think yeah, she was one of the biggest fan casts for a while, but it's great to see that Marvel actually listens or even just has similar ideas to everyone who was casting. So yeah, that's a good choice. She's a good actress. I'm excited to see what she does. Now let's move on to another piece of news of casting. Kurt Russell, it was announced, was in the movie. They announced that months ago. Everyone was wondering, who is he? Who is he? Who is he? Now we finally found out he's going to be Star-Lord's dad. That's a great casting choice, I think. It's interesting that, the way I see it, Kurt Russell was an action star way back when in the 80s and 90s, and I think it's fitting that that his character is the father to another action hero, modern day Chris Pratt, who has been blowing everything out of the water recently. He's done a fantastic job for himself, and I think he's only going to keep on getting better. I think I've said it before, I'll say it again. He's the modern day Harrison Ford, is what I think. And yeah, it's a great casting choice. Uh, they're still very, uh, they're still very teasing about who it is, what type of character he's playing. It's not the comic version we found out. It's probably gonna be some other random thing. We don't know yet. But yeah, they're just probably just gonna change things up to make a different take on the comic, which could be a good thing and a bad thing. Because if the new fans who didn't read the comics are so interested in the character of the father, that they go and try to look it up and they find a completely different character that's not even close to the same, that might be a problem, because a lot of new fans like to go and read old comics to try to understand the characters more. And if they can't do that with one of their favorite characters, that might be a really bad thing. It might be bad publicity for the company. But you never know. This could be a really great thing. You never know ahead of time like this. But yeah, the last piece of casting news. I'm surprised there's so much casting news and not many trailers from them. Michael Keaton is Vulture. Yes, yes, yes. I'm curious, why does he keep on getting characters that are flying, that are flying type characters? First, way back when he was Batman in the Tim Burton movies from 1989 and 1992, I believe. And then he was Birdman 2 years ago in that fantastic movie. And now he's Vulture. Why does he keep on getting flying characters? It's just, I think that might just be a joke at this point, that he keeps on being cast as characters whose names are based off of birds or flying creatures. And I think that's really funny. That's a really funny thing, and I hope he's not typecast like that, because he's a great actor, and he's really shown that recently with Spotlight and Birdman. I hope he's not typecast as bird-type characters, because he really has a lot of acting potential and acting chops in him. So I would be pretty upset if they just left him like that, if they just left him as a stereotype of, oh, we have a flying character, let's just cast Michael Keaton. That would be a really bad thing. That would be really bad for him, too, because he's trying to escape a mold, and if they do this, if everyone just typecast him as his character, that'd be a really bad thing. That'd probably make him angry. If I was him, I'd be angry by that. And all in all, that's basically all of the Marvel news. There was some casting stuff and stuff I'm not really entirely interested in, like the Black Panther stuff. Sure, the movie's going to be awesome, but I'm not going to be like indulging myself in all the news before the movie comes out. I'm just going to leave that as is, because I want to experience it as like a great movie. Other ones I'm so excited for, I just want to get some news to get my teeth in. But I'm not going to worry so much about that news. Sure, it's going to be a great movie. Nothing against the filmmakers or anything, because Ryan Coogler, that man is fantastic at making movies. Creed last year was amazing. I loved that movie. But I'm not really going to talk about Black Panther much. Unless there's a huge casting. I might do it later. I might just save all the news for another episode in the future. But that wraps up all I have for Marvel in my notes. So let's get straight into DC, who, in my opinion, blew everything out of the water this year. They did fantastic. DC, Warner Brothers, they did amazing for themselves. And I'm going to start off with my favorite of the trailers that they debuted, which was Justice League. Oh my god, that looks fantastic. And I honestly haven't seen one review or reaction to it where people were upset by it. Everyone was really excited, was looking forward to seeing it. That's exactly what DC needed after Batman v Superman. They needed a movie that fans could be excited for. And that's exactly what I think they delivered here. Because everyone looks excited. Everyone looks so like they can't wait to see this thing. And I can't wait either. It looks fantastic. But a small part of me is upset that they changed up the tone after Batman v Superman, because I loved that tone. Mostly because I love that movie. I gave it an A-. And I think I'd give Man of Steel a B+. Both movies I really enjoyed. I really recommended. And no one else seemed to love them. But I think everyone's going to wind up loving this one because of the different tone. And I think that I'm not sure how I feel about that. I like the new tone. I like how they presented it in the trailer. I like that it feels like a different type of movie, which is what it should be, because Justice League is way different than Batman v Superman and Man of Steel. So they should have a different tone. I'm not sure. Most of my conscience is just so excited and so ready to see this. But then a small part of it is like, wait, why do they change this? You know? But yeah, there's nothing I can do about that. So I'm just gonna leave it as is. But yeah, I'm very excited to see Justice League. The trailer was great. I love the jokes. The jokes are fantastic, especially with Barry Allen, played by Ezra Miller. I told everyone when he was casted he's going to do fantastic. No one believed me. No one believed anyone who said it. Everyone was just like, oh, he should have been Grant Gustin. Oh, man, Grant Gustin's great on TV. This is a different take, and I think this is going to be a good take, because this looks like it'll be a faithful adaptation of Barry Allen. And I'm honestly really excited to see what he does with his solo movie, because Ezra Miller, amazing actor, as everyone knows if they've seen him in. We Need to Talk About Kevin, I think was what that movie was called, and then Perks of Being a Wallflower, which Perks of Being a Wallflower is my personal favorite movie, so I'm so excited that they got a great actor from that movie to be in superhero movies. Now I'm just crossing my fingers for for Logan Lerman for Nightwing. If they ever cast Nightwing, I really want it to be Logan Lerman. That'd be fantastic. But yeah, so great to see him getting such great work like this. He's gonna make a lot of money, and that's great because he seems like he's a really nice person. And also, he was born in Mass State, New Jersey. It's pretty awesome. And also, Cyborg looks great. The costume, I was a little worried about it when I saw the concept art because it looked very CGI. And sometimes I really like CGI stuff, like Dawn of Planet of the Apes. That movie was amazing. The CGI worked out great for that movie. But then you also get your Last Airbenders, where the CGI is terrible and it doesn't blend in. You get your Transformers 4s, where it looks like PS2 graphics. This looks great. The costume looked fantastic, and I think that the actor that they chose, Ray Fisher, I'm not a huge Cyborg fan, but what I saw from him in that trailer, I really enjoyed. I think he looked like he was a good adaptation of the character, and he sounded a little bit like the New 52 version, a little bit more than the Teen Titans version from the 90s and early 2000s, which I like. I like that they're adapting New 52 because that was a great line, and I'm really upset that they're starting to move away from that because I love New 52. I love all the comics. Honestly, I think my favorite was the Scott Snyder Batman run, which was amazing. And also, I love the Flash New 52. I love Justice League with Jeff Johns. Anything that Jeff Johns makes has to be good. There's nothing that he could make that would be bad, and that's why I'm so excited he's running all these shows and everything. But yeah, I love the New 52 stuff, especially with the next trailer we're going to talk about, Wonder Woman. Oh my god, it looks awesome. I love how this movie looks. This movie looks fantastic. It looks like it's going to be the mix of a war film, a superhero film, and just like a straight-up Chris Pine movie, which is a really good thing. I love all those three types of movies, especially since Star Trek Beyond this past week. Chris Pine hit it out of the park with that movie. He was amazing. He's always been amazing as Kirk. But yeah, I'm really excited to see this movie, mostly because Wonder Woman was one of the most redeeming moments of Batman v Superman for me. I loved what she did with that character. Gal Gadot, I believe is how you pronounce her name. Everyone pronounces it differently. I'm gonna go with that. She did fantastic with Batman v Superman. I loved what she did with the character, like making her seem a little bit more mysterious, which is a good thing because in the comics she's lived for a long, long time, which is what we're going to see here. We're going to see her fighting in World War I, which is great because I love that they led up to that in Batman v Superman. They showed the picture of her with Steve Trevor in World War I. It's great that they're leading up to all these things before the movies even come out. That's a really, really fun thing. We hadn't even gotten a trailer or any official pictures before then, so that's awesome that we got that when we did in the movie, and that's great. And also, Chris Pine and Steve Trevor, gotta say, he looks great. Looks great. It looks like a fun comedic role. And also, the action looks fantastic. It looks very gritty, and it looks very, very... I'd say I'd probably compare it to what Rogue One looks like later this year. Looks like a gritty war film, and it looks like it's going to be comprised of a lot of really interesting and fun action. And also, some of the combat styles, I've seen people compare Wonder Woman's style with the Shield to Captain America in the first Avenger. I loved that movie, although not a lot of people did. I did really love that movie, and I loved the fight scenes there, even though they montaged through a lot of them. But yeah, the combat I'm really excited to see. It looks fantastic. It looks great. I'm excited to see what happens here. And this is my cue to move on to Suicide Squad. Yeah, this movie looks fantastic because Suicide Squad, of course, a movie, the most talked about movie on social media this past year. Not surprised. It looks fantastic. The trailers have been amazing. The first Comic-Con trailer last year, which I was shocked they released a trailer that early because it was more than a year before the movie, which is what they're doing with Justice League again because it's coming out November next year. But yeah, Suicide Squad is a couple weeks away, and it looks amazing. And I'm honestly a little bit disappointed by this trailer because I don't really like that type of music that they're using for the soundtrack. I know, hate me all you want. I'm not into modern music, especially all the rap and stuff. But I could get into this depending on how it's used in the movie. If it's used in the movie really well, I'll be like listening to the soundtrack nonstop for the next couple of weeks afterward. But yeah, the trailer also kind of spoiled a little too much of the movie for my taste. Like, it showed the final set piece a little bit. They showed a spinning thing of whatever, as Will Smith called it, the spinning wheel of trash in the sky, which, yeah, that kind of spoils what the end action piece is going to be. And also, there's one shot that someone analyzed to assume that the Flash is in the movie, because it looked like, I believe Captain Boomerang was going to rob a bank, and then, that's the theory currently, and then the Flash tried to stop him, because the lightning in that shot looked exactly like Ezra Miller's lightning as the Flash in the Justice League trailer. So, yeah, the trailer looked like it spoiled a little too much. It gave everyone a little too much to sink their teeth into. I would have loved it. It was just the music with some scenes we'd already seen, maybe like one or two cool little shots that we hadn't gotten before. Although that wouldn't have excited the audience that much. That's just what I think it should have been. But yeah, that trailer did disappoint me a little bit, and I'm a little bit underwhelmed by what they did there, especially since they spoiled a little bit. But next, let's go into a trailer I loved, The Flash. Spoiler warning for The Flash. I'm probably just gonna put this in somewhere. I don't know. Just spoiler warning for The Flash, because, oh my god, last season the finale was ridiculous. It got everyone talking on social media. It was one of the most shocking finales I've ever seen. Flashpoint. I swear, as soon as he went back in time, I immediately just started saying, "Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no," like over and over and over again until the episode ended. And then I got so frustrated by what he did. He went back into time and he went back in time to save his mother. Yeah, it makes sense that he would go back in time to do that, but just the writing might be a little off there, because if I were him, I would have known ahead of time that, dude, if I go back in time to save my mother, everything in my life will go wrong. That's how the timeline works. If he had talked to Cisco for 1 second, he would have realized, oh, wait, this is a really bad idea. Okay, not going to do this. But, of course, they want to make the fans happy by leading into Flashpoint, which looks fantastic in this trailer, because they have some scenes with the Reverse Flash. Barry has no powers. Iris doesn't know him that well. Joe doesn't know him that well. Wally is the Flash. Kid Flash. That costume. Ugh. That's so, that's just a comic book fanboy dream. That's like a wet dream for a comic book fanboy. That's just an amazing costume. Yeah, and the trailer looks fantastic. And also we have another racer, another Flash, Reverse Flash Speedster. I'm going to go ahead and assume that that's the Black Racer from recently in the comics, because it looks just like it. The costume looks really interesting, and I was just trying to analyze the pictures, look at the mouth, see if I could recognize who it was. But, of course, I couldn't, because they're very good at keeping that stuff concealed in set pictures and trailers. But, yeah, I'm excited to see what they do with this next season. Well, of course, I know what they're going to do. They're going to have Flashpoint for the first couple episodes, and they're going to shift it. Because, of course, they have to have that crossover with Supergirl, the 4-night crossover. Actually, I kind of hope that's revolved around Supergirl and Flashpoint and all that stuff. That would be really interesting and really cool. But, yeah, Flash Season 3, I'm as excited as I've ever been. And what's funny is, on comicbookmovie.com, on the post for that trailer, everyone in the comment section was saying, please don't let it be Arrow Season 3. Because that's exactly what happened with Arrow. The first 2 seasons were great, and then the third season went downhill fast. I don't want that to happen. I really don't want that to happen. That would be awful. But, yeah, that trailer looks amazing. And also, let's get into another CW show, Arrow, which I'm honestly not caught up on. Because this past season really, really made me angry. When they killed off Laurel, which is honestly, like, in my opinion, the worst move they could have made, it made me so angry. I was so angry. Beyond belief, I was so angry. Just, I could not believe they did it, and I was just so angry with what they did. Because that's just a total spit in the face to the comic book fans of Laurel. Because there's a ton of them. I've seen them online before. I've seen how they reacted to this. It's such a spit in the face to those fans. It's really just like a kick in the gut. It's just a really disrespectful move. But this next season looks kind of okay because they're starting to train Curtis, who honestly I really want to see him as Mr. Terrific by the end of this next season. The trailer looks kind of lighthearted. Kind of. I'm shocked. At least the trailer didn't have any really dark things in it. But yeah, Oliver's trying to assemble a team because apparently Laurel's last words was telling Oliver that he can't fight alone. He needs a big team. Sigh. That's just I'm sorry. Just go into like a total cringe mode whenever I remember that Laurel is dead. But yeah, the season looks okay. There's going to be some more Thea stuff because, of course, they're not going to let down that whole Lazarus Pit effect thing until the series ends. My God, they're never going to let that down. But the trailer looks fine. The trailer looks good. The show, honestly, it's my least excited show out of all of them. So let's go into the trailer for this show. Actually, I'm really excited for Legends of Tomorrow. Yes, please. And yes, they cast Justice Society of America members. I can't remember off the top of my head some of the characters, but they are going to be having what's his face, Hourman, still in it, and it's going to be interesting because I do remember that they cast some Legion of Doom. They cast the Legion of Doom, and it's interesting because some of them are dead currently in the shows. Like, for example, Malcolm Merlyn, Reverse Flash, Damien Dark, and Reverse Flash, if I didn't say that already. So yeah, Damien Dark, Malcolm Merlyn, Reverse Flash, Captain Cold. That's honestly really cool, and I'm so excited that they're going to be combining all those characters together into one team. It's going to be really interesting, and I'm also excited to see what they're going to do with the team, because they did cast Mari McCabe's grandmother, who, in case you don't know who that is, that's Vixen, and the season 2 of her show. It's going to be airing, I think next year they're going to be airing season 2, and it's going to be they're going to have Laurel in the show because it takes place before season 4, before a death in season 4, and they're going to be having Firestorm in it too, which is really cool. Yeah, I loved last year's Vixen. It was really cool. It was cool to have just a simple half-hour long special for a character, and I'm excited to see what they do with the next one. Because they basically covered her biggest story arc in the comics last year with her long-lost sister or cousin. I think it was cousin in the comics, and it was sister in the show. But, yeah, that was really interesting. They covered the main arc of her in the comic that everyone knows. So I'm wondering what they're going to be doing next. They might just pick up a random, smaller comic from her, or maybe just a small comic from someone else and just adapt it to her. That'd be interesting. I'm excited to see what they do with there. And moving on to the Lego Batman movie. I love this trailer because it looks funny and it looks like it has the same Lego movie style. And also, Michael Cera, I'm shocked he went this far with Robin because I feel like he can do so much more with voice talent than he can with actual physical acting, which is so funny to me that he did all this stuff in just voice cast. He sounded just like I imagine the original Robin sounded. And this is funny because this reminds me a little bit of Forest Fire 101's original Lego Batman videos from way back when in YouTube when Robin was always the main antagonist of the episodes because Batman fandom's so annoying. That was really funny to me, and I hope that they use it as like a little reminder of that, a little homage, because that was a really big part in Lego's history on YouTube. But yeah, the trailer's really funny, and I loved the whole seatbelt thing in the end of the trailer. That was great. And also, what's interesting was they had Joker laughing in the trailer, but they didn't cover his voice. Interesting to me because I was cautious when they cast Zach Galifianakis as the Joker. And I think he said in interviews before that it's going to be a very different take on Joker in terms of the voice. So I'm excited to see what they do with that. Because I was cautious when they cast him because I was like, whoa, Zach Galifianakis is Joker? What on earth are they doing here? But yeah, he's a funny actor. They could make it work. I'm sure they're going to make it work because Will Arnett knows exactly what he's doing in this trailer. And I would be shocked if they just went out of their way to confuse everyone, just make everyone angry with this. So yeah, that movie looks great. I hope that they have some more Lego movie tie-ins. Like maybe they'll have Wildstyle or Emmett just cameo. That'd be great. Let's move on to the next trailer, Justice League Action, which looks fantastic. Justice League Action looks interesting because I love the voice cast. I love that they brought back Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill again for the second time this year. It looks fun. It looks like it'll be somewhat of a sequel to the original Justice League and Justice League Unlimited shows, which were great shows. If they're going to be doing that, I'm so on board. But the trailer didn't really wow me. It just showed me some cool action. I'm sure this is going to be much more exciting to kids who watch the show than it will be for some older fans. But it looks fun. It looks like it'll be a good show. And I can't quite remember when it's going to be airing, but I might put that in the description of this video. But yeah, I'm excited to see what they do here. It should be a really good show. I'm excited to see what they do. So yeah, that's it for all of DC. I just covered all of DC stuff in a long amount of time. Marvel stuff really shortly. Now let's move on to another small San Diego Comic-Con thing. This will be the last one. I just felt I needed to touch on the whole Game of Thrones announcement. Yeah, guys, I watched Game of Thrones. I'm sure a lot of you are shocked about that. Yes, I watched Game of Thrones. And Season 7, which I was so excited for, has been delayed the summer next year. So you have to wait like a full 12 months until we see next season, which is really annoying. I can understand why they would do that because they want to film during winter, so you don't have to spend so much money probably on all the fake snow and like fake making the actors look cold and stuff. But come on, really? Do they have to delay it that long? I guess that makes sense, but whatever. So that's it for San Diego Comic-Con. I just wanted to touch on some more quick other news stuff. Like, for example, I just saw this morning the Split trailer. M. Night Shyamalan. Oh my god, I was blown out of the water with this. This movie looks fantastic to me. I love the concept, and I love the fact that I'm excited for another M. Night Shyamalan movie. Because 2 years ago, we got The Visit, which, wow. Well, actually, that was last year. Last year, we got The Visit. Last year, The Visit was actually one of the movies I really enjoyed. It was just really fun for me. It was just a fun movie to watch. I was freaked out in some parts. That's mostly because I'm a wuss with horror movies, but it was really good to me. I really enjoyed it. And this movie stars James McAvoy as someone who has 23 split personalities. 23! That's just crazy to me. It's a crazy concept, and especially because he kidnaps 3 teenage girls, which is a scary concept. 23 personalities with 3 teenage girls in their hands. That's great. That's really creepy, a really terrifying concept. And also, James McAvoy's an amazing actor, so I'm sure if anyone's going to be able to make this role work, it's going to be him. He's going to do an amazing job here, I can assume. And yeah, the trailer really excited me because it worked as a really good trailer. It enticed me, it got me excited, and that's something a lot of trailers don't do anymore. So yeah, I'm excited to see what M. Night Shyamalan does with this next movie, and I'm hoping it's really good. It should be really good. But the next thing I'm going to be focusing on, a little piece of news was announced today. Supergirl will be the focus of the 4-night crossover on the CW. So it's going to be a 4-night crossover with Supergirl on Monday, then Flash on Tuesday, then Arrow on Wednesday, and Legends of Tomorrow on Thursday. Which, yes! Sign me up for that. That's awesome. That's going to be a 4-night cross. That's an amazing idea, honestly. I'm really excited to see what they do with that. It's going to be fantastic. And unlike last year when they had a 2-night crossover setting up a third show, this year it's going to be all 4 shows just going back and forth, which is a really fun idea. And honestly, this is going to be the most hyped thing this year probably, but except for the finales, except for the mid-season finales and the season finales. But yeah, I love that they do this. It's going to be a great tradition, and I'm loving that they're doing it every year because it opens up so many great concepts. But yeah, that's a really cool idea. It's interesting she'll be the focus of it because I know she'll start it off, but I was expecting it to be like more of a Flashpoint thing, where they're gonna have everyone come in to try to help Barry get back to Flashpoint. Like maybe just show alternate takes on characters on Flash. But yeah, that's it for that. And then Jessica Jones season 2 and Daredevil season 3 have been delayed all the way to 2018, which is really annoying because I think we might be getting Defenders next year, possibly. Either next year or in 2019, probably, because they normally have 2 years, two shows per year. And since this past year was Daredevil season 3, and then Luke Cage in September, and then next year it's going to be Iron Fist and maybe the Defenders. That would be awesome if they did Defenders next after that, and then Jessica Jones season 2 and Daredevil season 3 year after that. But yeah, that's a little bit upsetting for some of the fans, especially because those are the two. Well, there only have been 2 shows so far, but those are the 2 shows that everyone was so excited to watch. They loved. Everyone was so excited to see more of, and to have it delayed like that is a little annoying, I'll admit. But I'm excited to see what they do. I'm excited to see all the shows, because I'm probably going to watch all of them on Netflix. Yeah, I love the shows. I love the Netflix shows, so I'm excited to see what they do next. And then, to close us off, I want to talk about Mr. Robot, which, heavy spoiler warnings for season... Well, no. I'm probably going to do a little section of spoiler stuff in the future. Not a spoiler warning. This is just going to be like a talk about the plot and everything and how much I love the show. So Mr. Robot is a show about Elliot Alderson, who is a hacker who in season 1 works at an Allsafe company, which is like a cybersecurity company. So it's funny that he's a hacker and he also works at a cybersecurity center. But yeah, he has a lot of mental disorders like social anxiety and schizophrenia, a bunch of other crazy stuff. And it's such an interesting character because he becomes part of a hacker group called F Society. I'm actually wearing an F Society shirt right now as I'm recording this. And it's a great show. It's well-directed, well-written, well-acted. It's just one of the best shows on TV, in my opinion. I think it's right there behind Mr. Robot and Daredevil for me in terms of like best shows I've watched right now. But I think that might be it for this episode. So please be expecting in the future to have some guests on every week. Like this isn't just going to be me having a podcast. It's going to be me having a podcast shared with everyone. So I'm going to have probably a guest every episode if I can try to. Then I'll try to have a new episode out every 2 weeks, probably. Yeah, that's what I'm going to try to do, an episode every 2 weeks. If something changes in the schedule, I'll let you know in a future video or something. But this is where I end my podcast. So until the next episode, guys, adios, amigos.